Welcome to PaleriderTV. How you doing? How you doing this morning? Oh, this afternoon. Sunday. It's Sunday, almost Sunday evening. Man, today went by pretty quick. I got this article here from Landline Media. I'd like to share about a company just settling a lawsuit over some, I think it's unfair uh, leasing thing, leasing practices. Trying to get the link up here. Let me see. For the article. There we go. C&K Trucking settles truth in leasing lawsuit for more than $3 million. Here we go. I checked into C&K Trucking. I think their main office is out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. This story's out of Chicago Ridge, Illinois based. C&K Trucking has reached a settlement in a class action truth in leasing lawsuit on February 22nd. A judge in an Illinois federal court granted final approval of a lawsuit settlement between C&K Trucking and owner-operators it hired. The trucking company is to pay $3.35 million to a class of nearly 1,000 drivers. Somebody do the math on that and leave that in the comments to see how much that is per driver. 3.35 million spread out over 1,000 drivers. Man, that's a lot of drivers. The lawsuit claims the trucking company took illegal deductions from owner operators' paychecks and violated the Truth in Leasing Act. Allegations against C&K Trucking. The lawsuit accuses C&K Trucking of violating the Truth in Leasing Act, breach of contract, and fraud. Some of the allegations include quoting specific rates for loads and then paying less. That's not good. Promising a certain pay structure in its standardized contracts and then failing to honor that structure. That's not good. Unilaterally lowering the price for loads without informing owner operators ahead of time and without their consent. Not good. Agreeing to honor specific rates for specific loads in response to pay disputes and then failing to honor such agreements, promising higher rates for regional as opposed to cross town loads, but then underpaying and are paying lower cross town rates. Mm-mm-mm. Misrepresenting that pay would be provided within a certain time frame and then failing to provide some or all of it. Belinda Stevens and Bernard Shern contracted with S&K Trucking in May 2010 under the business name BNVS Transport. Stevens frequently found that her pay did not match up with quoted rates. That was when she was able to obtain quotes, which was not always granted. According to court documents, Stevens did not receive itemizations or documentations explaining chargebacks. In the rare instance when Stevens would receive such documentation, the itemizations often would be less than was actually deducted from her pay. The lawsuit alleges that when Stevens would contact C&K Trucking management about these discrepancies, she was mostly ignored. That's not good right there either. When Stevens would get a reply, answers to her questions were opaque, contradictory, and misleading, according to the complaint. Additionally, plaintiffs accused C&K Trucking of violating the Truth in Leasing Act. Specifically, the company is being accused of frequently taking longer than 15 days to pay drivers for loads. 15 days. Stevens also claims that the trucking company consistently did not provide her with the rates up front. In cases where Stevens was given the rate ahead of time, C&K Trucking would frequently pay her local rates rather than regional rates. In other cases, the trucking company would unilaterally change the rate the owner operator's knowledge without the owner operator's knowledge. For example, Stevens was quoted a rate of $615 to haul a load for Burko. However, C&K Trucking allegedly lowered the rate for Burko without informing Stevens. Consistently, she was underpaid by hundreds of dollars. By settling, the trucking company does not admit guilt at any of the claims. To any of the claims, C&K Trucking settles $3.35 million to nearly 1,000 drivers. Truth in Leasing Act. Crazy stuff, man. You always hear the stories about unscrupulous lease deals, even regular trucking companies making um, stealing from company drivers, allegedly. So it's out there. You just got to be careful. Now, when I was with Central Hauling, we got a settlement every week. They would email it or send it to the mail, whichever you preferred it. I always kept an eye on the settlement to make sure I got paid for every mile I ran or whatever, sitting around, or and make sure the deductions weren't more than they were supposed to be. So always got to keep an eye on your settlements. Don't just get them and throw them in the drawer or delete them out of your email or whatever. Keep up with them. Pay attention to them. And if you find any discrepancies, get on the phone right away. Don't let it pile up. So, little advice, commentary there. And that's it. So, I appreciate everybody watching. Everybody have a good day. Stay safe.